Okay, I've got a LG model number WM3170 CW front load washer, and I am getting an LE fault. Now what's strange is supposedly that is a hall sensor, but when that tub turns, it's making a terrible noise. It's like a bearing or something is out on it. But we're going to check it out. We're going to do a diagnostic on it so you can see what it does. And probably won't be able to let you hear it turn because now it's to the point it won't turn. But it will turn manually, and it's quiet is what I don't get. But I don't see that hall sensor making it. As you can see, that tub turns no problem, and it doesn't make any noise. Let's do the diagnostic on it. Alright, so the diagnostic, to get it into diagnostic mode, it has self-diagnosing. Right here it says Smart Diagnosis. Right there. Right next to the power button. We're going to hold spin and soil level at the same time and press power. Now, the first test, you just press play and it will go into test mode. If you notice down there, the tub started to move. But to my understanding, that 0, it should be your RPMs of the tub. And it's not sensing the RPMs of the tub, which that hall sensor is what tells washer what the RPMs are. So it's looking like it may be the hall sensor. If you sit here and wait long enough, that will fault out for LE. It's been sitting there a while and it's not faulted. So let's go to the next test. Press play again. That's running your drain pump. But there again, the tub is not turning. Let me fix the camera where you can see the tub too. There we go. We'll let that sit there and run that test for a little bit. Oh, there we go. I thought I was. There's my LE fault, which is leading to the hall sensor. So we're going to put one on it. Go ahead and hit the power button. Turn the power off. Go ahead and unplug your washer. Alright, take this back cover off. Got 4 screws in it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Phillips screwdriver. Take them out. Alright, and then the cover, you just lift it straight up and then pull it from the bottom out and then pull it down out of the tabs. Next, we'll take this center bolt out. The best way to do that, see that bolt right back there? That's a bolt that holds your stator in. You want to stick a screwdriver between that and that bolt. And then I've seen people using crescent wrenches. You'll hardly ever see me use a crescent wrench. A socket is better with a ratchet. You don't have to worry about rounding the edges off. But you just, once you apply good pressure to that screwdriver up against that bolt, you can let go of that screwdriver and then now once it breaks loose, your screwdriver will fall out because the pressure fell off of it. this bolt out. This rotor, it will slide straight out, but you've got the magnet kind of holding it in there. You just have to kind of pull on it pretty good and wiggle it until it releases, just like that. When you take this off, go ahead and inspect this part. This is your gear hub that's mounted to your rotor. Make sure the spline inside there is good. And right here where this plastic meets that metal, those little squares, make sure that's okay. And because these wear out too. And then we're going to take these 6 bolts out for your stator. And then before you take the stator completely off, you've got a little plastic ring that holds these wires right here. And then you've got a metal one right there. You want to take those off. Screw out. Oops. This little metal ring comes off. And now you're ready to slide this stator off. Just like that. Now if you want to, you can do, right here's your Hall sensor. And it has 3 tabs on this side. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 tabs on this side. 1, 2. And if you want to, you can just, if you're just going to replace the Hall sensor, just unplug it. Set that up right there somewhere. And then just take a screwdriver and pull these tabs out. And then just put it behind each one of them tabs. And then it will pull right off. And I'll leave links to these parts in the description, even your hub for your rotor, your Hall sensor, and probably your stator if you need that. Probably even leave the link for the rotor in the description. That way if you need these parts, you'll have easy access to them. Alright, we're going to test these things. And this is the old one. And if you hold it this way, pin 1 is on your right, pin 2, pin 3, pin 4, pin 5. So there's your Hall sensor right here, and then here's your second Hall sensor. So pin 5 is one of these. I'm not sure which Hall it is, but you got an A and a B. So this is HA, and then this is HB, which stands for Hall A, Hall B. And that's pin 4 and 5. So you get your voltmeter. I'll leave links to this meter in the description too. This is a good meter for testing capacitors, anything you need to test. You can test it with this meter. You're going to put it on ohms. Now if you leave it on the auto ohms where the buzzer works, you won't get any reading. See, it just shows nothing. So you have to push range and change this range. So you'll hit select one time and it puts it on K ohms and M milliohms. And then put your ground into pin 1. And then you're going to check pin 5. It should be around 10 ohms. It says 5 to 15 ohms, I think. But it should be real close to 10. So that part of it's good. So my Hall A is good. And then you're just going to pull that out and you're going to go to pin 4. Now if you notice, pin 4 don't show anything. Even if you get a reading, pay attention to this M and a K. It needs to be K. If it shows an M, it's still bad. So if you look, that's 9.85 K ohms. You go to this one, and it changes it to an M, but there's no reading. So this hall sensor is bad. We'll get the new one. Plug in our black to the pin 1, and then we're going to check pin 5. Alright, we're getting 10.21 K ohms. And then pull it out, go to pin 4, 10.07 K ohms. So there's other tests you can do to this sensor if those show good. I'll try to leave a link to that website in the description that shows you how to test this if you need to go farther. If you do this test and you're not getting close to 10 here and here on these 2 pins, you need to go ahead and replace this anyway. And that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to go any farther with the test because I know this is bad. So we're going to put this one on, and hopefully we will have a working washer again. Alright, I'm going to get this back together. Got your 3 little tabs here that line up with these 3, and then these 2 go in between there, just like that. And then you just snap that thing into place. Make sure it's locked on your tabs there and there, and on the back there, there, and there. And then we're ready to mount this stator back up. Don't forget to plug your wiring back in, your connector here. Plug that in, and we're ready to mount this thing back. This ground wire, I'll have to connect it back. I actually took this wiring harness and stuff off of this washer just to test it while it was apart. There is a little notch right here, a little tit that sticks out, and one right here. You need to make sure you get those in these little holes here and here. But you want to make sure and get those where they go. Put them in there. Wiggle it back and forth till it is flush. And then put your bolts in. You want to tighten these up kitty corner, just like you do a car tire. You start with this one. I started with this one, so now I'm going to go to this one, then I'll go to this one, and then I'll go to this one, then to this one, and then to this one. So kind of cross them. If you're using a power tool like this, be careful. I've used this a lot. I kind of know when to let off of it. Don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm hooking this ground wire back up. And then we got to hook our little clips up to keep the wires out of the way. And then we've got this little guy. This is a little tedious here, trying to hold that and put your screw in and line it up and get it started, and then just line that. There's There's a little tab there that pokes through that second hole. And I'll just give it a look to make sure everything is out of the way. So we're ready to put the rotor on. Here's our rotor. Make sure when you put this back on, these are magnets. And you don't want it to have a little screw or something in here stuck to the magnet and you put it on. You're going to mess the magnets up and possibly your stator. So before you put it on, just make sure it's clean in there. Doesn't matter which way it goes. You just line these splines up on this shaft and be gentle with it and watch your fingers. If you have to, give it a little spin and then just kind of push it on there. Ready to put our bolt in. I've seen some videos saying putting this on or off and using that screwdriver method. You can possibly damage this rotor. If you're putting that much effort into this bolt and you damage this rotor, you're tightening this bolt way too tight. This is some thick metal. You're not going to hurt that metal. That's a good 14, 16 gauge steel. It's real thick. You're not going to hurt it. Now, if you jam the screwdriver into your stator and try to tighten it, yes, you're probably going to damage the stator. But if you're just putting it against that bolt, the sides just don't need to be super tight. I mean, it needs to be tight where it doesn't fall off, but you don't need a and then just give it a spin, make sure it's smooth, and it is. Now we're ready to put the cover back on. Alright, you just take these two tabs, push them up in there, and then push it back. And then the same thing down here, these two little tabs, you just push it back down into them tabs, and then put your screws in. Alright, let's give it the little test mode here. Oh, it's the play button, duh. Hey, we got a reading. It would not do that before. It would turn a little bit, make a loud grunt sound, and then fault out for LE. Alright, let's try the next one. That's water feel. There's spin. I do believe we have fixed it. I'm going to grab a few items and throw it in there and just throw a wash in it and see what happens. Let's stop that. I grabbed 4 towels and see if I can't get them in there without knocking the camera over. We'll get a little soap. Hopefully that's enough. Alright, here we go. We're going to power on. We're going to do a speed wash. And it's on hot water. Let's do cold water. Let's do spin speed high, soil level medium. I just want to see what it'll do. Let's click go. This washer, I bought it in 2015, so it's probably, I bought it at the end of 2015, so it's probably 8 years old. So it's probably washed a lot of clothes. And 20 bucks, less than 20 bucks, fixed it. I'm good with that. I'll let that fill up. And once it gets to washing, we'll come back. Seems to be washing them pretty good. That might be a little bit better with some light. You can actually see it working. In about 6 minutes. Guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment if you have a question. And share the video with your friends, especially if they've got a LG washer. They may have this problem in the future. Alright, the wash cycle is over and it's pumping the water out of the tub. I may have put just a little bit too much soap in there, but we'll see. I might have to rewash them and get the soap out of them. Alright, it's in the rinse cycle. You see the rinse splashing there. Yeah, I think I put too much suds in there. It looks like it's in the wash cycle. At least we'll know the towels will be good and clean. The rinse cycle is now over. It's pumping the water out. Although I am going to have to rewash those. But as long as it makes it through the cycle, we'll know we have fixed it. And we'll let it finish pumping that out, and then it should go to the spin cycle. I think it's going to need new shock absorbers on this washer. It went to spin and that tub went to shaking pretty good. I'm thinking maybe the shock absorbers are bad on it. We'll see what happens right here in a minute. There it goes. See that tub wobbling? Did you see that in the back? I think it needs shock absorbers. Who knows, maybe it's just me being paranoid, but it looks like it was moving back and forth pretty good. And just for that to be 4 towels in there and it's doing that, makes me wonder if it should be wobbling that much. And it's kicking in, or at least I thought it was. Goes. Alright. Yeah. Y'all might not be able to see that the whole washer's moving a little bit. Not terrible, but it's moving. She's moving on now. Turbo spin there. Kicked in, running a little bit faster. Spin cycle is just about complete. It has stopped and it should end, and then the door should unlock. Have made a complete cycle. The washer is fixed. Alright guys, there you go. Hopefully this video helped you. And I'm gonna have to rewash those clothes. But before I do that, I'm gonna put all this back and clean out from under it. You know how dirty it can get under your washer and your dryer. And then I'm going to put it all back, and we should be good to go. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a like. If you have a question, leave me a comment, and I'll usually respond to all the comments. We'll see you on the next video.